Well, folks, it is with a heavy heart today that I come to inform you that the news you've already probably heard that Wimbledon is canceled for 2020. They decided to cancel the tournament instead of postponing it or playing without players. So we're going to look into that decision, the ramifications of it, what the US Open's doing. Is the French Open still going to be in the fall? We're going to look into all of it here on this sad episode of the Slice Tennis News.
So I don't have many bagels.
Welcome to the Slice.
Welcome to the Slice.
Welcome to the Slice.
Thanks for tuning in, folks, and I hope that you all are doing well no matter where this finds you around the world. I know that we are in some crazy times. People have already talked about how unprecedented these times are, so I hope that you guys are staying safe. Hashtag staying inside like I am, and I hope you're just all doing well because it's been a crazy time. But I think it's also been a time where we've all come together and kind of figured out ways to connect with each other through different means like social media, like the internet. But the news of today is, so first of all, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, and then you can stay connected with this community during this crisis. Also follow us on @theslicetennis on Instagram because we got a big challenge involving the GOAT debate on there that I'll talk about in a little bit. But the news of the day is, as you've probably already heard, Wimbledon 2020 is canceled. Okay, so the AELTC, the All England Lawn Tennis Club Championship, I don't know, decided that today Wimbledon will be canceled. People thought that it might be postponed or it might be, played without fans, but they decided to cancel it because I feel like that makes sense with Wimbledon. It's like arguably the most prestigious sporting event in the world. And if they ain't going to do it proper, they ain't going to do it at all. That's kind of what I feel like they're going to do. That's what they meant. In previous episodes of The Slice, I said that, the French Open should be played with nobody there, but from an article I read at ESPN today, they talked about all the work that has to go into putting on a tournament like Wimbledon, even if no fans are there. Like the amount of training for all the ball kids, the amount of supplies they have to bring in and out. Like there's just too much of a logistical nightmare for it to happen. So they postponed it. Roger Federer has responded on Twitter saying he's devastated, which, all the players are reaching out and they're saying, could 2020 get any worse? So I'm here in my white shirt with the green in solidarity with Wimbledon. I'm also here with the Laver Cup, literally in solidarity with the Laver Cup, which the French Open has moved to over top. We've already talked about that. We're going to get onto that in a little bit here. So, yeah, Wimbledon's been canceled for the first time since World War II. So I know you guys are all tennis historians like myself. So if you look back at the major championships all the way back, you get down to the old days, and you'll see missing events because of the World War II, obviously, and probably World War I. So this is obviously a huge deal because, it's been such an old tournament and they don't miss it for anything other than catastrophic world events like we're in right now. But for some hope, we will get through this. This will pass and we will get through this. But right now we all just have to cooperate. And as Simona Halep, last year's champion on the women's side, says, we are going through something bigger than tennis and Wimbledon will be back. So, we all have to cooperate on this. That's why, at the beginning, no one knew what was going on. I said Indian Wells shouldn't have been canceled, but that's before we knew what was the seriousness of this. So we all have to work together now, stay inside, and help get this thing done as quickly as possible to first save lives, obviously, but then for us to get life and tennis back as normal, we got to work together now. Just felt I should use my platform to say that, even though you've probably already heard that 1 million times. So in other news, the French Open, I think, should be canceled. It's postponed right now, but they should just cancel it because Wimbledon's canceled. It would be weird and I think ridiculous to play the French Open after the US Open 1 week after. And it would just be it'd be unsettling for Wimbledon. These two championships are really close to each other. They're both in the same area of the world and one cancels and the other one postpones it. I just don't think it's a classy move, in general, by the French Federation to move it without asking anyone to where the Laver Cup is. The Laver Cup, even though it's an exhibition, some people are complaining. But I also think it would ruin a lot of other things. Like if Rafael Nadal somehow didn't win the French Open and it was played after the US Open, there'd be all these people saying, well, that's why he didn't win, because it was after the US Open. It was not the regular time. So I think they should just cut their losses, cancel it, and go back at 2021. All the guys will still be there. I think I saw somewhere on the internet today where Federer said, unfortunately, we can't be there at Wimbledon this year, but I will be back next year, implying that he's not retiring before then. So it's April Fool's Day today as well, so I'm not doing any April Fools. I would suggest to you that anything you do here other than the Wimbledon cancellation might be an April Fool's joke today. But now, so what we're going to do in this offseason, we're here on the Slice. I'm going to be making content. Beckett Chung, our other producer, he's going to be making content with us. So stay tuned. Subscribe on here, but make sure you follow at the Slice Tennis, because right now we have a little championship going on called the GOAT Championship, where you guys get to vote on who is the GOAT. We have a very interesting draw out right now, made up by Beckett Chung. In the first round, we had some exciting matchups with some entertaining players in there as wild cards, including myself. I played Rafael Nadal in the first round and lost, even though I got like 36% of the votes. I'm very proud of myself. Federer beat Lendl in the first round. Jimmy Connors lost to Rod Laver in the first round. Bernard Tomic, lucky loser, lost to John McEnroe in the first round. And Nick Kyrgios, also a wild card, lost to Novak Djokovic in the first round. And on the other side of the draw, we had Nadal beating Espout and myself, Ken Rosewall losing to Agassi, Pete Sampras beating Andy Murray, and Dustin Brown losing heavily to Bjorn Borg. So right now, today, you can go vote on Federer versus Laver and McEnroe versus Djokovic. McEnroe-Djokovic is like 60% Djokovic, 40% McEnroe, and Federer's absolutely smashing Laver, which is a shame because Laver, as you know, Federer says is the GOAT. And I know, I get it. Like, you got to vote for only one, so you're probably going to pick Fed if you're a Fed fan, but Laver deserves a ton of respect on his name. Obviously, he has his own cup. So later today, once the first set of quarterfinals ends, it'll be Nadal versus Agassi. Interesting matchup there. And then Sampras versus Borg. So we're getting into the heavy hitting rounds of the Slice GOAT Championship on our Instagram, which you could follow right here at the Slice Tennis. So go cast your vote. Follow us there because we're posting daily on there to keep you guys entertained while we're all in quarantine. You can see me and my girlfriend doing tennis challenges, all these different things, different episodes. And one last thing. I was talking to the boys at the Game to Love podcast on YouTube. Go find them, follow them. And they were talking about England and how, back when I said they weren't going to do it if it wasn't done properly. Like, Wimbledon is so, I didn't even know this, but like, you have to like line up like a day in advance, wait all night sometimes to get tickets to get into Wimbledon. That's how prestigious of an event it is. So it getting canceled shows how big time this virus is and how upsetting it is for the whole tennis community, obviously. Wimbledon's kind of like the premier event of the tour. I think most players would say that. And it's just a tragedy that it's not happening this year. So on another light note, Djokovic fans can gloat that, there's a strong possibility that Djokovic will get the calendar Grand Slam this year because there might only be one Grand Slam played. The U.S. Open is still scheduled to be played, but it's looking skeptical. Things are not looking good in the States right now. So we will see what happens there, but Djokovic might get his calendar Grand Slam like the Djokovic fans want. So anyways, a lot of funny things that we got to kind of try to keep ourselves lighthearted during this time and stay together in community. So we'll see you guys on Instagram for the GOAT Challenge. We'll see you guys here next time we pop on YouTube. But until then, stay safe, stay inside, and keep your spirits high. We're going to get through this, and we're going to do it together.